Welcome to Decouple China Radio Daily News Recap for June 28, 2021, a production of Decouple China PAC. I'm your host, Paul Boardman. You can find Decouple China PAC, including these daily news updates from around the world, at decouplechina.org. As background, Decouple China PAC is a U.S. political action committee whose stated public policy goal is the 100% decoupling of the United States from the China CCP. This is total decoupling that includes trade, banning China purchases of U.S. companies and U.S. land. Decouple China PAC stands for banning investment in China-owned companies and more. In addition, Decouple China PAC supports rebuilding USA with a manufacturing policy that onshores the many security vital industries that China stole from the U.S. through illegal global trade practices. The purpose of this daily briefing is to demonstrate China's methods to American voters so that we can identify and combat them as they happen in USA. I hope this is helpful to our American voters in their quest to understand the underworld syndicate or racket that is called China, unfortunately controlled by the Chinese Communist Party. As additional background, there is a debate as to whether the CCP is actually communist. China does not have the social programs associated with communism. The CCP does have the last word in China on everything, including regulation of their so-called business enterprises. The CCP seems to offer the world a carrot, an illusion of prosperity. Their stick is trafficking in anarchy, confusion, social unrest, strife, turmoil, and controversy. Methods or modus operandi, or MO, include every aspect of warfare possible, including drug, loan sharking, propaganda, and cyber, to name just a few. They traffic in addiction. Nothing is off the table with the CCP. If you're working with China, you support slavery, sex trafficking, and harvesting of live human body parts. Everything, and I mean everything, is a commodity to monetize, control, and influence for the CCP. Is it a fascist state? I think so. It is clear China is the first country to wage a total war of domination and control, using all sinister influence methods of the lowest nature the world has ever seen. It is clear that their goal is to destroy the free world and replace it with their friends. Note, China's only official ally is North Korea. Their friends are Russia, Pakistan, and Iran. We must come to no other conclusion that China offers only an illusion of prosperity. The company China keeps tells us what they want for the United States and the free world. How do I demonstrate China's MO on a daily basis so that Americans can begin in earnest to decouple from China? I believe that by seeing China's methods across the globe on a daily basis, the urgency of decoupling from China now will become clear to our American voters, and we can break the lock that the glimmer of China prosperity has on some Americans. We can end our dependency on China and rebuild American-based ingenuity and prosperity. Boycott Chinese products. Write your elected officials. Demand 100% decoupling from China. Decouple China PAC offers an opportunity to commit to a 100% decouple from China policy. Support Decouple China PAC at decouplechina.org by making a donation or write your congressman. Now the published June 28, 2021 Decouple China news from around the world. The JAKARTA Post. Maritime militia exacerbates South China Sea dispute. Known as maritime militia, these fishing ships, escorted by China Coast Guard cutters, operate along the disputed waters to underline China's sovereignty claims in the area. Reuters, Russia, China extend friendship and cooperation treaty. NEWSWEEK, Hong Kong news outlet to stop accepting new subscriptions due to national security law. Hong Kong pro-democracy online news outlet Stand News said it would stop taking money from subscribers and donors and would not accept any new subscriptions to prevent the money from going to waste, should its assets be frozen due to the national security law. NEWSWEEK. If China won't cooperate, scientists believe COVID origin investigation still possible. AFP. World's second largest hydropower dam goes online in China. Reuters. Australia files WTO complaint against China over wine duties. NEWSWEEK. Hong Kong banning individuals who entered UK for over 2 hours from flying to territory. Hong Kong will begin banning any passenger who has been in the UK for more than 2 hours from flying into the territory on Thursday in order to help prevent the spread of new variants of the coronavirus. CNN. Chengdu International Airport is officially open. Daily Mail. China aims to have 400 airports by 2035 despite emissions fears. Jalopnik. Tesla recalls almost every car it has sold in China. CNBC. China companies turn to U.S. markets to raise cash. CNN. Is a Cold War really emerging between China and the U.S.? CNBC. Reverse migration is picking up in China as workers give up on big cities. Forbes. Sliding demand for steel points to a slowdown in China's economy. CNBC. China's aggressive behavior on the global stage is an immense danger, says analysts. Wall Street Journal. Apparel importers like Uniqlo tripped up by U.S. ban on forced labor goods from China. NPR. Road deal with China is blamed for catapulting Montenegro into historic debt. South China Morning Post. British-U.S.-China hawks call for NATO for trade against Beijing. Reuters. Italy says its relations with U.S. far more important than with China. Stars and Stripes. India shifts 50,000 troops to China border in historic move. Space News. China's Super Heavy rocket to construct space-based solar power station. South China Morning Post. China's chip champion SMIC offers executives $3.7 million in shares in effort to retain semiconductor talent. Financial Times. China tech listings drop sharply as Beijing cracks down on sector. Reuters. Taiwan's COVID-19 cases fall to month-and-a-half low. Fox News. Experts Black, Bennett, and Hansen. China's naked aggression provocation is at record levels. Where is U.S. leadership? Reuters. Chinese EV battery maker KATL extends deal with Tesla. Newsweek. Russia-China pledge to not use nuclear weapons first. Avoid firing missiles at each other. CNBC. There are voices of concern in China over the buildup of a surveillance state, says former diplomat. Newsweek. Digital yuan, part of China's big bet on blockchain, could upend rules of global commerce. There's no stage bigger than the Olympics for the athletes in the host country. Modern China announced its arrival 13 years ago when 2008 synchronized drummers wowed the world at the Beijing Summer Olympics opening ceremonies. In February, China is expected to use the Beijing Winter Olympics to unveil a creation of intense international interest, the digital yuan, the first major central bank digital currency. Yahoo News. Report details China and Iran's pragmatic anti-U.S. partnership. MarketWatch. China's Didi raised $4 billion in New York IPO. CNBC. Chinese parent company ByteDance is heavily involved in U.S. TikTok operations, including accessing U.S. users' information. BBC. Hong Kong media buckles under China pressure. Fox News. Senator Cotton. Nike's message towards genocide in China is, just do it. Bloomberg. Japan defense officials outline threat from more assertive China. Japan's number 2 defense official laid out the increasing threats he sees from a more assertive China. Bloomberg. House passes bills to help U.S. counter China's rise. Popular Mechanics. China's new mystery submarine sure looks weird. Reuters. Japan minister says necessary to wake up to protect Taiwan. New York Post. Psaki says U.S. has solid support for Taiwan amid China's aggressions. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki on Monday said the Biden administration has rock-solid support for the leading democracy, Taiwan, amid China's aggressions. Reuters. Taiwan to get vaccine boost with more Moderna shots on their way. U.S. Naval Institute News. Taiwan sovereignty key to Western Pacific security, says Japan defense official. Gravitas. India now has close to 200,000 soldiers on the China border. CNBC. Some sectors in China will face slow growth momentum in the second half of 2021. Gravitas. Indonesia suffers as Chinese vaccines fail. 20 doctors have died in Indonesia despite being fully vaccinated with Sinovac. Around 90% of the country's doctors took the Chinese shot. They're now worried with the rising infections among healthcare workers. Have Chinese vaccines failed? Wall Street Journal. White House not backing off Taiwan-U.S. trade talks as China attempts to exert pressure. Thank you for listening to Decouple China Radio's daily China news recap from around the world with your host, Paul Boardman. A list of these publications and broadcasts can be found at decouplechina.org.